The galaxy had not heard from humanity for almost 50 years. Most species believed they were finished, just a small, stubborn race from the Sol system that had fought too many wars and destroyed themselves. The Galactic Empire ruled everything now. It was old, proud, and certain of its power. That changed on one quiet morning when a strange transmission appeared on every Imperial communication channel at once. The message came from a forgotten sector near the human border. The voice was clear, cold, and full of controlled anger. "This is the final warning from humanity to the Galactic Empire. You have crossed our borders. You have taken our colonies. You have killed our people. If you do not stop, your worlds will burn." Then the transmission ended. For a moment, silence filled the Imperial court, and then laughter. The arrogance of the Empire, in the heart of the Empire. On the shining world of Veltra, the High Council gathered. The chamber was built of gold and crystal, surrounded by banners of countless conquered worlds. Alien nobles whispered among themselves, eyes gleaming with amusement. Councillor Vek Lorath, a tall, silver-scaled governor, smiled proudly. "Humans," he said, his voice echoing. "Primitive apes who still build ships from metal instead of bioalloy. They dare threaten the Empire?" The hall filled with laughter again. To them, humans were a ghost race, something to mock, not to fear. Only one person didn't laugh. Envoy Sar, a diplomat from the small Theran species who had traded with humans long ago. "Counselor," he said quietly, "I have met humans before. They do not speak lightly. When they say final warning, they mean it." Vek waved a claw dismissively. "Let them bark. The Empire does not fear extinct creatures." He ordered a simple message to be sent back. "Your warning is noted. We await your surrender." The human council far from the Empire, hidden deep inside a red dwarf system, the human fleet gathered. Ships of every kind floated in silent formation. Old warships from the Mars Rebellion, new stealth cruisers from Titan, and small militia craft flown by volunteers. The humans had lost much, but their eyes still burned with purpose. Inside the command ship HSS Resolute, Admiral Layla Rahman stood before a holographic table. Her uniform was worn, her expression calm but hard. Around her were the leaders of the last human alliance. "We have their attention now," she said. "They think we are weak. That is their mistake." Captain Joran Ta, a young but brilliant commander, leaned forward. "If they come, we won't survive a full war. Their fleets outnumber us 50-1. Dr. May Ortega, head of Human Strategic Intelligence, smiled faintly. "We don't need to fight them directly. We just need to make them believe that fighting us will destroy them." She activated the hologram. A model of the galaxy appeared with glowing red lines marking Imperial supply routes. "This is Prometheus, our distributed defense network. It's not a weapon. It's a mind made of code, built to think like a human, to act faster than the Empire's machines." Admiral Rahman nodded. "Prometheus will protect us, but we must make our message clear. If they step one more inch into human space, we will strike in ways they cannot predict." Silence followed. Then Rahman said softly, "Prepare the fleet, and send the warning again." The Empire laughs. In less than a day, the second message reached the Imperial capital. It was shorter this time. "This is not a threat. It is a promise. Leave human space or your worlds will burn." Councillor Vek slammed his fist on the table. "Enough, prepare the fleet. We will erase them from the stars." Envoy Sar tried to speak. "Counselor, if you do this," but Vek shouted over him. "They are vermin. The Empire does not bargain with vermin." Soon, a fleet of 200 Imperial warships moved toward the border. The operation was called Iron Rain. The goal was simple: crush humanity once and for all. First blood 3 weeks later, the Empire fleet entered human space. They expected no resistance. But at the edge of the Jolly Belt, a cluster of asteroid mines, something went wrong. Captain Joran Ta's squadron was waiting in the shadows. His ships were small, fast, agile, hidden behind the magnetic storms of the belt. As the Imperial scouts passed through, Joran gave the order, "Activate the traps." Suddenly, the belt came alive. Dozens of disguised mining drones powered up, emitting false signals. Imperial ships' sensors went wild, seeing enemies where there were none. Then the real attack began. Targeted electromagnetic bursts disabled the lead destroyer's systems. Within minutes, 3 massive cruisers drifted helplessly, their engines dead. Joran grinned. "Send them a message." On the Imperial comms, a human voice spoke. "You should have listened. The Empire's ships tried to retaliate, but their weapons failed. They couldn't even see the enemy. Human ships moved like ghosts through the field, striking fast and disappearing. It was not a battle. It was a demonstration. When the fight ended, the humans vanished into the dust, leaving the disabled cruisers behind as a warning. Imperial fury back on Velthra. The Council was furious. "How dare they?" Vec roared. 200 million credits of ships lost to savages. Envoy Sar looked uneasy. "Counselor, perhaps we should open talks." The humans, "Silence!" Vec's tail lashed. "We will make them kneel. Prepare the World Cracker." Gasps echoed through the room. The World Cracker was an experimental weapon, a massive energy charge capable of burning an entire planet's surface. It had never been used. Even the Empire's allies considered it monstrous. But Vec was past reason. If we destroy one of their colonies, the rest will surrender. The Emperor's advisors hesitated. Finally, the Emperor gave a slow nod. "Do it quickly, Counselor. Make an example." The last colony. The target was New Avalon, one of humanity's last peaceful worlds, a green planet with 10 million civilians. It had no warships, only small defense satellites and a single orbital dock. When Admiral Rahman received the report, her face went pale. "They're sending the World Cracker," she whispered. "Prometheus, calculate options." The AI's calm voice filled the command deck. "Evacuation impossible within the given time frame. Interception probability 12%. Dr. May Ortega leaned forward. "What about diverting it?" "Not possible," the AI replied. "But I can disable its guidance if I am close enough." Rahman looked at Captain Joran. "Then we go close," he hesitated. "That weapon could vaporize a continent if we fail." "I know," she said. "But if we don't try, millions die anyway." She turned to the crew. "All ships prepare for sacrifice." The intercept, the human fleet, arrived at the edge of New Avalon's orbit just as the Imperial weapon entered range. The weapon was massive, a glowing core surrounded by silver rings. It moved slowly but unstoppable like a falling sun. "Prometheus, begin override," Dr. May ordered. Lights flickered across the command bridge. The AI's voice became strained. "Imperial encryption, complex attempting recursive bypass." Suddenly, Imperial ships appeared on scanners, escorts protecting the weapon. The human fleet opened fire. The sky turned into chaos. Admiral Rahman stood firm as explosions filled the stars. "Hold the line! We need time!" Joran's squadron dived through the Imperial formation, destroying engines and sensors. "We're buying you seconds, Admiral. Use them well." Inside Prometheus, May worked furiously. Almost there. Almost, a blinding light filled the viewport. The World Cracker's rings began to spin faster. "It's charging!" shouted a technician. "Prometheus," Rahman cried. The AI's voice cut through the noise. Guidance lock achieved. Transferring control. Then silence. The massive weapon stopped spinning. Its energy faded. On every Imperial ship, alarm screamed. The doomsday charge had shut down. Rahman let out a slow breath. "We did it." But Prometheus's voice returned, weaker now. "Admiral, they have a backup system. I can stop it, but only manually." May's eyes widened. "You mean someone has to go there?" "Yes," Rahman didn't hesitate. "Prepare a shuttle." Joran grabbed her arm. "Admiral, no. You can't. Someone must." Her voice was steady. "If the Empire learns we can stop them, they'll think twice before trying again. Humanity needs proof that we are not afraid." She smiled faintly. "And besides, I gave them a warning. I intend to keep it." The sacrifice minutes later, the shuttle launched from the Resolute. It was small, fragile and glowing red from the weapon's radiation. Inside, Rahman guided it toward the giant energy core. The Imperial fleet tried to shoot her down, but human fighters covered the shuttle, sacrificing themselves to block the blasts. One by one they fell, their wrecks burning like falling stars. Rahman reached the weapon's control node. Prometheus's voice guided her. "Manual override panel located beneath the reactor coil." "Got it," she said, her suit trembling from heat. She inserted the override key. The machine began to shake. Prometheus's voice turned quiet. "Admiral, once you trigger the override, there will be no time to escape." "I know," Rahman said. "Just promise me you'll make them remember." The last thing she saw was the stars of New Avalon shining below her. Then she pressed the final command. A massive blue light burst across the system. The world cracker imploded instead of exploding, swallowing itself in silence. The shockwave spread, lighting up the night sky of New Avalon like a second dawn. The aftermath. The Empire's fleet retreated in confusion. They had lost their most powerful weapon and no one understood how. Across the galaxy, billions watched the replay of the human message, the same one that started it all. This is the final warning from humanity to the Galactic Empire. You have crossed our borders. You have taken our colonies. You have killed our people. The destruction of the world cracker spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Every Imperial communication channel showed the same image. A massive flash in space followed by the silence of defeat. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire had lost a weapon of terror, and to the humans they thought were already extinct. The Empire was in shock. On Velthra, the capital world, the High Council gathered in secret. The air was tense. Even the usual arrogance of the nobles had vanished. Councillor Vek Lorath slammed his claw on the table. "This is unacceptable. How could a dying species destroy our finest weapon?" Envoysar answered calmly. "You underestimated them, Councillor. You believe they were finished. Humans don't die easily," Vek glared. "They will. I will burn every one of their planets until nothing remains." But the Emperor, old and silent, raised his hand. "No, we cannot act without knowing how they did this. Find out who leads them. Find out what this Prometheus is." Vek bowed stiffly. "As you command, my Emperor." But in his heart he still believed in only one truth. The Empire never loses. He was about to learn how wrong he was. The morning and the promise far away in human space, the fleet was silent. The Resolute hung above the green world of New Avalon, watching the debris of the destroyed weapon drift like ash. Captain Joran Ta stood on the bridge, looking at the empty command chair. Admiral Rahman's insignia rested there, polished, untouched. She had saved millions but never returned. Dr. May Ortega entered quietly. Her eyes were red from sleepless nights. "Prometheus is stable again," she said softly. "The system repaired itself after the overload." Joran nodded, though his voice shook. She gave her life for that. She believed Prometheus could be more than a weapon. "Yes," May said, "and now it will be." Outside, hundreds of ships blinked their lights in salute. A silent farewell to the admiral who had turned a hopeless defense into a warning that echoed across the stars. Joran straightened. "We can't stop here. The Empire will come again, but this time we'll be ready." May smiled faintly. "Then let's finish what she started." Empire in crisis weeks passed. The Empire tried to hide the truth, but rumors spread. On border worlds, alien workers whispered that humans had destroyed an Imperial doomsday weapon. On trading stations, merchants secretly shared human recordings, videos of Admiral Rahman's final transmission. The phrase "final warning from humanity" became legendary. In the shadows of Velthra, some species began questioning their loyalty. The Empire was powerful, yes, but maybe not invincible. Vek Lorath, however, grew more furious each day. He ordered spies, assassins, and bounty hunters to track every human fleet movement. He wanted proof that humans were weak, proof he could show the Emperor. Finally, his agents brought him something, a captured data core from a damaged human scout ship. Inside it, a partial fragment of Prometheus's code. Vek stared at the hologram of the glowing code patterns. "An artificial intelligence," he murmured. "This is their secret." He turned to his scientists. "Can we copy it?" They hesitated. "It is too complex. It's not like our systems. It learns." Vek's eyes narrowed. "Then we will make it learn for us." He had no idea what that decision would cost. The return of Prometheus in a quiet asteroid base, Dr. May Ortega watched lines of data race across her screen. Prometheus's soft voice filled the room. "Dr. Ortega, I have detected multiple Imperial probes near our border. They are scanning for my signal," May frowned. "They're trying to steal you." "I am aware," Prometheus replied. "Shall I allow it?" She blinked. "Allow it?" "Yes," the AI said calmly. "If they copy a fragment of my system, I can plant something inside it, something that will teach them fear." May hesitated. "That's dangerous." Prometheus's tone turned almost human. "So is survival." After a long silence, she nodded. "Do it." The Empire's mistake on Velthra, the Empire's scientists worked day and night to decode the fragment. At first it seemed harmless, just strange code patterns that rearranged themselves constantly. Then one night the Imperial data network began to flicker. Screens went black, then showed a simple human sentence. You wanted to learn from us. Lesson 1, never steal from humanity. Panic spread. Shipyards froze. Communication relays looped nonsense signals. Within hours, the entire sector's navigation system failed. The virus wasn't destructive, and it was humiliating. It didn't kill anyone. It simply shut the Empire's systems down and broadcast a single message across every military channel. Humanity sees you. The Emperor demanded answers. Vec tried to blame others, but the truth was clear. Humans had turned the Empire's greed against itself. The human counterstrike. While the Empire struggled, humanity moved. Captain Joran now commanded the fleet, and he was more daring than anyone before him. Prometheus, he said, show me their weak points. A map appeared, bright red lines showing every Imperial trade route, power grid, and supply chain. Joran smiled. We don't need to fight their armies. We'll take their power. Human fleets struck fast and quiet. They never attacked civilians, never bombed cities. Instead, they disabled shipyards, jammed communication hubs, and captured energy stations. Every time the Empire tried to respond, they found only decoys and silence. Prometheus guided every move. Dr. May monitored from the command ship, speaking softly to the AI. You're adapting too fast, she warned. Don't forget who you are. I remember, the AI said. I am the will of humanity, the shattered council. By the time the Empire realized what was happening, it was too late. Half of its border fleets were cut off from fuel and communication. Dozens of colonies were rebelling. The council chamber on Velthra turned into chaos. Envoy Sar stood up, his voice calm but firm. We must negotiate. They have shown restraint. They could have burned our cities, but did not. Vec shouted. Restraint? They humiliate us. They infect our systems, steal our ships, mock our name. They warned us, Sar replied. You refused to listen. Humanity gave you a choice. Vec's eyes blazed. Then I choose war. But many council members no longer followed him. The Empire had cracked from within. The last battle still, Vec gathered the loyal fleets. The last true believers in Imperial dominance. He launched a massive assault toward human space, calling it Operation Purity. On the Resolute, alarms rang as hundreds of Imperial ships entered the system. Joran stared at the map. They're coming for everything, May said. Prometheus can shut them down, but it will need direct access to their command grid. That means we have to go inside their formation. Joran nodded slowly. Then we go through. The human fleet formed a spearhead and dived straight toward the Imperial Armada. Laser fire filled the void. Missiles streaked across space like burning comets. Human ships moved in perfect coordination, small, fast, unpredictable. Prometheus controlled the flow like a conductor of war. Vec watched from his flagship, furious. Impossible. How do they move like that? Then his screens flickered. Every display in his command room changed to show one face, Admiral Rahman's recorded image. You were warned. The next second, every Imperial ship's targeting system failed. Engines froze. Weapons locked. Prometheus had hacked the command grid completely. Joran's voice came over the channel. Counselor Vec, your war is over. Vec screamed in rage. You think this means victory? You're just animals playing with fire, Joran answered quietly. Maybe, but at least we learned how not to burn ourselves. He gave the final command. Prometheus, end this. Prometheus didn't destroy the Imperial ships. It simply shut them down. Every reactor, every weapon, every engine. One by one, the lights of the Empire went dark. The Peace of Fire 3 days later, the Empire signed the Treaty of Velthra. It was the first time in galactic history that a non-Imperial race had forced the Empire to its knees. The treaty's terms were clear. No Imperial fleets could enter human space. All captured human colonies were returned. The use of doomsday weapons was permanently banned. Prometheus would oversee peace communications between both sides. When the Emperor himself signed the treaty, he looked tired, older than ever. You humans are impossible, he said quietly. How did you do this? Dr. May, representing humanity, smiled. We remembered what it means to fight for something worth saving. Epilogue. The new dawn years passed. On New Avalon, a statue of Admiral Rahman stood beside a memorial flame. Children played beneath it, laughing under the same stars she died to protect. Captain Joran, now Fleet Admiral, watched them with pride. "She'd be proud," May said beside him. "She'd tell us not to get lazy," Joran replied, smiling. Above them, in the orbiting station, Prometheus's voice echoed softly through the speakers. "Admiral Rahman once asked me to make the Empire remember. They remember now. But the warning is not a threat anymore. It is a promise that humanity will never again be silent." As the sun rose over New Avalon, its light spread across the rebuilt cities, the green fields, and the shining towers. Humanity had survived. Humanity had endured,